Welcome to the Candle Business Coach podcast. I'm your host, Kirsty Allen, the Candle Business Coach. I'm a mum of three, kindness advocator, and your go-to coach for building a thriving candle business. Welcome back to the podcast, my friend. Today I have another candle maker conversation, this time with someone on the other side of the world in the UK, the beautiful Lily from Hangtight Homemade. Welcome to the podcast, my friend, and please introduce yourself so we can hear all about how you started, where it all began, and a little bit about you as well.
Hi, I'm Lily. I'm from the south of the UK. I started making candles around 5 years ago, but my mum is a chandler, so I have always been around a wick at some point in my life. And it wasn't till I kind of dabbled a bit when I was younger and kind of thought, yeah, it's cool. My mum used to make mainly coloured pillar candles. Thought, yeah, they're cool. And then I discovered the world of scented candles, and that was when it just blew up. I was like, I can just make my house smell like pie. That's incredible. So yeah, that's when it kind of began. And my partner bought me a little kind of set off Amazon that came with three little like tins and scents. And I sat down, made a few candles and was like, right, that's it. I'm started now. That's it. The passion is there. And I've been making for, about 5 years now, but I've only been selling since last April. And that is just because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So it took me a while to work out what kind of scents I wanted, what kind of wick I was going for between cotton and wooden. Then, the testing process, as we know, can be testing itself. So it took me a little while to go from hobby to selling, but we're here now, and it's changed my life. I'm so passionate about candle making. So it's been so lovely to have a creative outlet candles are quite forgiving, so it's nice to have a creative outlet that you can mess up with and then kind of come back and go, it's fine, we're going to remelt and start again, no stress. Yes. So that's why I'm glad candles chose me.
It is a calling, right? There are people that give it a try and it's just not for them. But then there are people like us and the people that listen to this podcast. Like, it's such a niche podcast, right? So if you're listening to this, you're also obsessed with candles and the process of making them. So I love that it found you, and through your mum as well. That's incredible. That's the first time I've had a conversation with someone who's, come down through the generation. It's so amazing to hear that you've been able to start your passion for your own joy and fulfillment, but it stemmed from your mum as well. That's really beautiful. What does she think about you doing candles?
She's the proudest person on the planet, I think. She loves it. She'll come around and she'll go, I didn't even know we could do this. Like, this is incredible. Because she kind of, she dips in and out of it, and then she stopped for a while just because life becomes a lot, doesn't it? I think she's still got about 60 kilos of wax sat somewhere. So she kind of dipped in and out. She's not doing it so much now, but I think she loves to come around and kind of go, wow, this has really changed since the time when I was doing it. And now you've got dyes that are completely different. I think gel wax, it was her birthday last month and I bought her, it was a candle that was submerged in gel wax, so it kind of glowed as it burnt, and she was like, this is mind-blowing that we can do this now. So it's really lovely to be able to share it with her. It's also really lovely to be able to go to her and be like, Mum, this has happened. Do you have any idea? She'd go, yeah, you've probably just done this, this and this. Fix this way and you'll be good. So it's really nice to be able to have someone that I can also go to for the weird questions, because I use Reddit a lot and kind of forums like that, but sometimes your problems are so niche that you're like, I just can't explain this to someone by typing it over the internet. So having a crafty mum has definitely been brilliant. And I feel her pride, and that just I love making her candles so much. She'll come around and she's like, can you fill this jar for me? I'm like, of course I can. And I love it. It's our thing. I think it's our thing. So
Yeah, beautiful. We'll have to record another episode, but invite your mum as well, and have like the three of us are just chatting about candles for like half an hour to an hour. Like,
she would love that.
Oh, perfect. All right, I'll pencil that in so we can make that happen, because that would be amazing. Just to hear the history of her journey as well, I think would be quite incredible.
Yeah. I remember when I was small and we'd go up to London. So this was before online shopping was a thing, really. And we'd go up to London and the most bizarre places for her to go and buy things because you couldn't buy a lot of the wax and the weirder molds just weren't available. So yeah, I've got a lot of memories of being traipsed around. And at the time, I probably thought it was a right chore. But now I would have loved to go back and do stuff like that. Yeah, I really, really love that we have that.
Tell me, what is the meaning behind your business name?
So, hang tight is a word that kind of translates to stay patient, stay in the moment, which is something I'm terrible at.
Aren't we all, to
I
be honest?
I'm quite a fast-paced, always looking to the next thing. And a few years ago, kind of realized, no, we need to stop, we need to be present, and we need to be here, and we need to be concentrating on what we're doing now. So I kind of thought I've always wanted a unique name for my business. And I thought, you know what, if I incorporate that, it's a permanent reminder to me to just stop and be and hang tight in that moment. The homemade part is because I do really try and make everything from home. So my partner's very crafty. He's kind of got a laser cutter and a 3D printer and all of this. So whatever we can make here, so like the wick centering tools we make and everything we can make here, we do make. So yeah, the homemade is definitely a big part of my passion as well. Although I love shopping, it makes you a little bit more like, oh, do you know what? No one else does it this way. So yeah, I really love the homemade aspect as well. I would love to be able to make my own vessels, and concrete is something that we are looking into. So yeah, that is 100% homemade would be incredible.
Isn't it interesting? Because by calling it Hangtight Homemade, you're not limiting yourself to just candles as well. You're able to
Yes.
incorporate other products, whether it's still fragrance products, reed diffusers and room sprays, or you can move into other arts and craft things and items that can expand your product range beyond candles, even though obviously candles is the very first and the most important aspect,
Mm.
according to you and I anyway, and a few others that
Yeah,
listen to the
yeah.
podcast. But it doesn't limit you, which I think is quite clever.
That was the plan as well. So we do have plans to release the wick sustainers that we make, and there are other things that can be made that we're just kind of looking into at the moment. So yeah, as you've said, that will then enable us to be able to list those things and not have to stick to just Candle Co. or, kind of thing. There are plans to branch out. We're quite a crafty couple between us. So
So
yeah, it's fun. Working together is fun but stressful, but fun.
yes, I think there's a lot of people that probably wouldn't want to work with their partner or work as closely with them because it might be a little bit too much. Let's just say that. So it's nice that
Yeah.
you've got that healthy balance between the two of you.
Yeah, we do. So yeah, no, he's brilliant. And I think it was last year I came to him, I was like, none of my labels are going on straight. And I went out to walk the dog, came home and he'd knocked up one of those kind of little boxes that you can put the candle in. And I was like, oh, look at that. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm very blessed to have a very crafty partner as well. So yeah, the goal is eventually branch out to more homemades. We kind of grow our food and things like that. So eventually I'd love to sell jam and things like that too.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
yeah, kind of branch out to everything.
Do you do markets as well?
Got my first one this weekend, actually. I'm so excited. I've used your market book. I've got the checklist and it's just
Woohoo!
been, I'm really excited. I spent a little while kind of scoping the markets I wanted to try. I'm quite easily overwhelmed. So I thought I need something small that possibly isn't, I'm kind of going for lower traffic to start with, just because I currently work quite a simple, easy desk job at home. And I haven't worked a retail job or anything like that for a very long time. So I kind of was like, I need to get back into the mode of wrapping something for someone, taking a card payment, so putting something and chatting to someone. So I thought if I start with the lower traffic, the smaller markets, and just get into like a nice rhythm. So yeah, I've got my first one this weekend. I've been prepping. There's stuff everywhere, but yeah, I'm really, really excited. It's gonna be hopefully
It's
it goes well.
it's going to be incredible to see. Hopefully, you share some of the journey on socials as well, because by the time this episode comes out, you will have already done the first market. So I get to see a little sneak peek of how the first one went.
Yeah.
But it'll be amazing just to get your feedback on your experience of doing your first market. There are a lot of makers that have it in their bucket list to do markets, but may not get there for a variety of reasons. And that could include, the fear around what if people don't purchase anything, if they're on their own, that can be a little bit confronting as well. And, what if I sell out and, in 2 hours I've sold everything out and then what do I do? And there's a lot of factors that can come into play, but having the right attitude and the right perspective going into that experience is absolutely key. And yes, using the market guide and following the checklist and using the countdown, it takes a lot of the stress away because you can just follow a plan and you don't have to stress about all the little things because they've all been thought of. Well, the majority of things anyway. So yes, I'm very excited for your first market and I can't wait to hear and see how it goes. And yes, one day you can have, a section of jams and a section of candles and a section of something else perhaps as well homemade, which I think will be just amazing just to see that, that real rustic, homely stall come together as a consumer or as a market goer. That would be really beautiful to see all those elements come into play.
Yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, that is the goal. We're sticking to inside at the moment just because I really don't feel like fighting a gazebo. We're coming into autumn here and the wind has been pretty nasty this week. So I thought I'll stick to inside and I can be nice and sheltered. And then that draws people in as well. No, who wants to go to an outside market in the wind? No, come inside, drink coffee and buy candles.
Yes, I love that. That is like the perfect tagline for any market. So I'd love for you to share with us what have been some of the struggles going into your candle business, or even some of the struggles you're currently facing, because many of the people that listen to this podcast and then message me and we have conversations, there seems to be a few common challenges that people have, but then there are ones where it's a little bit more specific to your experience. But I'd love to hear, what are some challenges that you're facing?
One of my hardest challenges at the moment is scents being discontinued, which is unfortunately I am unable to find a way around this because of the way these scents are mixed. There's no way that me at home could recreate these scents. So that I would say is my biggest challenge. And I think because this has been my first kind of year of I'm getting a few sales a week. I'm kind of doing okay. It came down to stock management, I think. And I didn't realize how busy the candle season would be for our suppliers. I thought, oh, it's going to be great for us candle makers. We're going to make loads of money. And then thought, oh, wait, hang on. All of these people that we're buying from are also going to run out of all of the things we're buying from them. So that's been my kind of biggest challenge at the moment, of having to delist things at the busiest time of year because I didn't kind of get my stock right. So that is something I'm learning and will definitely take into next year, because here in the UK, our candle season starts it's really funny. It kind of starts at the end of July, beginning of August, which is crazy because that's summer here for us. Those are our warmest months. But people really like to lean into the pumpkin spice as soon as possible. So I think, yeah, I need to next year take a look at bulk buying and bulk buying a little earlier than I did this year. But yeah, I'm still trying to navigate that for this year. Another big obstacle I've had is social media. I know I'm not alone there. I use social media. I don't really use it on a personal level. My business account definitely has a lot more postings, a lot more activity. But I kind of struggle with the sitting down and content planning. I did it for a while and I just found the content that I was sitting down and planning wasn't hitting. It wasn't getting likes, it wasn't getting views, and I was falling behind on everything else. And I kind of thought, right, I need to assess this. I either need to really go all in on social media, learn absolutely everything about it, or go all in on candles and learn absolutely everything about that and how to list and how to advertise. And I kind of thought, I think I'm going to go the candle advertising route. So social media and I have a love-hate relationship, I'd say. It's something that I do try with, but I just end up getting frustrated, I think, because you sit on like CapCut or TikTok and you sit and make reels for hours and then it gets 200 views and you go, oh, okay, that's fine, on to the next. So yeah, I'd say that's probably my biggest challenge, but it doesn't bother me too much because I have taken my time to learn how advertising works instead. And I've found that that's actually probably worked better for me. So I've kind of got around that challenge, and I'm happy with how I am with social media. I do fall off the algorithm a fair bit because of how long I leave it in between postings, but I'm happy with how I am with advertising. So I kind of picked the one of the two worst, I'd say, because they're difficult things to learn, I think, mainly because there's no actual guidebook from above, there's no Instagram set guidebook of them saying, right, this is how the algorithm works, this is what you need to do to hit it. And the same with advertising. I think is slightly easier to kind of grasp, but there isn't a one fit all. And I like a one fit all. I love a list, a rule book, to just be able to go, right, cool, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. Whereas with Instagram, you post something, it does really great. You post something similar the next week and it completely flops. So it's like, oh, I don't understand what you want from me.
So, so true.
So yeah, I'm in a good balance with it now. I took some time, I did some research on advertising instead. And yeah, I kind of overcome that obstacle. I love social media for fun things, and I think I would rather keep it as an outlet rather than seeing it as a chore of having to sit down and content plan. So yeah, I'm in a better place with it now. But yeah, that definitely has been a bigger obstacle in the past.
Absolutely. And yes, you are definitely not alone in the journey that is social media, the adventure that the algorithm can take us on. It's so interesting because the more that I speak to different makers and learn about what they're drawn to and how they're growing their business, not many of them say, I get all my sales on social media. It's I'm doing wholesale, doing markets, and I am selling online through traffic that's from advertising. And there are different ways to grow our business. And yes, absolutely. If you're time poor, even if you're not, I mean, most of us are, but if you're time poor and you're thinking, okay, where can I best spend my time to grow my business? If you're choosing between social media and anything else, then anything else is probably going to be more fruitful. That
Yeah.
said, it is important to have somewhat of a social media presence because if you are approaching wholesalers or if you are approaching businesses to have a connection with for potential sales, even if you want to do workshops or just you want people to be able to learn more about your business and have that brand awareness, having something on, the Instagram or Facebook, TikTok, I definitely have a hate relationship with at the moment. I find it's a weird crowd on there. Instagram's more my jam, my homemade. And I find that I have more of a connection with that. I feel like it's good to work with a social media platform that you personally use because you'll be more familiar with it, and it's one less learning curve to try and master. But having somewhat of a social media presence is important because those wholesalers, all those market stall organizers may look to see, okay, what's this business about? Do we want to be involved with this business? And if you've got nothing, or if you've got something that, is from months and months ago, I mean, we live in a digital world. We need to have a digital identity in that regard for our business. So yes, it's important, but it's not the be all and end all. And you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours every day, every week growing your social media because as you said, the algorithm, like there is no, this is how you do it, here's your checklist. And even if there was, it'd be outdated within, a week.
Exactly.
So it is constantly changing, but I find that the content that you create, that you have fun creating, that energy comes through a lot more seamlessly, a lot more smoothly than I have to jump on this trend because if I don't jump on this trend, I'll miss out and I won't catch the tailwind. But it's like, you need to be true to your brand as well. So I love that you chose to work on advertising and focus on actually, receiving sales in that regard, as opposed to just posting content for content's sake. So that was a wise choice.
I mean, I'm guessing it has worked out. I mean, I think I'm up to about 110 followers on Instagram at the moment. And I know quite a few of them. And bless them, everyone I know does their share and does their part. So that's really brilliant. But yeah, and don't get me wrong, I have made sales through social media, which is brilliant. So yeah, it's one of those things where you do have to live with it, So yeah, you do. But get in a happier place with it, I think. Don't dread it so much. And like you said, make fun content. I love making fun, silly content because it makes people laugh. That's when I get all the reactions and the messages and people go, what are you doing? You're so odd. I'm like, yeah, I know. Come and buy a candle.
That's right. You can laugh at me, but you also have to buy a candle at the same time.
Exactly. So yeah, it's like you said, if you don't catch on the trends, it's not the end of the world. Nothing bad's going to happen. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely take more of a chill approach with it, I think.
absolutely. Are you a candle maker looking for support, strategy, and a like-minded community? Then you need to check out the Candle Makers Collective. The Candle Makers Collective is my exclusive membership where you get weekly live group coaching, expert guidance, and a supportive network of fellow candle makers so you never feel stuck or alone in your business. There's also an ever-growing library of helpful resources, including ebooks, social media guides, templates, and more. So if you're looking to take your business to the next level and learn more about the membership for candle makers, click the link in the show notes for the Candle Makers Collective. What's been your biggest win in your business so far? What's something that you've thought, like that you've had or experienced, you've gone, that was incredible?
I've got two, I'd say. So the first big win was actually extremely stressful, but I blew up on Etsy one day and I woke up to a good couple of tens of sales. I won't big it up too much, and I was like, what's happened? And that was when I kind of came across this obstacle of, I don't know if I have enough stock. Okay. And so that has been probably my biggest kind of salesy win, I'd say. That was really brilliant. And I felt really proud that because I'd worked really hard on my listings and the ads, and yeah, to see things being picked up and then getting repeat sales from the people that had bought things was really like, oh yeah, do you know what? Cool. We are good at this. We are. But I'd say my other, I don't know if it's a win or more of a cause for celebration, but I'd say it's being able to have a studio space. So we moved up to the countryside into a bigger house last year, and we gained a basement, which it can be a little dank at times. However, I have done my best and it's now my studio, and that is where I think a lot of my pride sits, because I get people come around and they're like, oh, can we see your space? I'm like, of course you can come in. Everyone comes in that goes, oh, it smells incredible in here. And that, I think, has been my biggest kind of success since starting, because making in the kitchen versus making your own space is very different. And although I did a few years of making in the kitchen, and you make it work because that is the space you have, changing into my own space where I don't have to double boil anymore, I've got space for a melter and things like that, has been my biggest kind of like, and I get to show that off on social media, going from kitchen, double boiler, having to share elbow space with people in the house kind of thing, to this is my room. Like, this is I can close the door and no one comes in. And it's just, so that I think has been my biggest kind of happy achievement for the last year at least. And then I'm hoping to get to add markets to that list this week. So I'm very happy with my space. It's definitely changed. I think it's changed everything, because it means I get to come down here, even if I'm not making. Sometimes I just bring my work laptop down here and work down here and go, oh, well, actually, I could just, that's a good idea. Well, let's just do that now. And it's just really nice to have your own kind of space to make and create that isn't, messed up by anyone else.
Yeah, definitely. It's your own sanctuary, right? Like, you're able to spread out, and you don't have to pack up every time. You can just shut the door and leave it for the next day, and being able to have that energetic room of, I can make and be creative and have my outlet and have fun. Like, that's a dream for a lot of makers that don't have that space, that are wanting and looking to expand, and being able to have that is definitely a blessing.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'm quite I like to organize, so I absolutely died on the day that I got to put all of my different wicks in different pots, and that was like, oh, this is it. And then everything got labeled, and it was like, oh, this is my space, and no one else really understands what happens in here, and that's lovely.
Yeah, it's just for you. It's your own, your own space, which is beautiful. I love that. What are your goals for your business? Where do you see this going in, say, 6 months, 12 months, 10 years? Like, what do you want to achieve on this journey?
So my goal for this venture, I've never kind of wanted to turn this into a full-time role, especially not the candles, only because candles are my passion and my outlet. And I need a craft to be able to settle my brain. And I realised, especially around the busy period that I've just had, some days or some things almost felt chore-like. And I didn't like that because to me, candles are the thing that I come and do when I'm stressed or just when I want a quiet. Candles to me are a bit meditation, really. They make my brain stop and I'm just concentrating on what I'm doing. So for me to turn candles into a full-time business would be me turning my peaceful time potentially into stress. And I don't want that. I always want them to be my creative outlet. So I'm going to carry on at the rate I'm going. I'm not changing. I'm kind of keeping all of my online as it is. I'm quite low key. My ads they run, but they're not too expensive, but they work. So I'm keeping everything as it is. And then my goal is going to be to run at least a market a month, keep cracking out candles. And then in the next few years, I would like to branch out to other crafts or along the route of making tools for candle makers. So yeah, that is kind of the goal. It's a very wide goal because there's so many things that I'd love to be able to make and sell that, yeah, every day I wake up and go, oh, I could sell that. So I went through a phase that I was like, I'm going to start selling stickers, which didn't last very long. But it's kind of like I'm going to keep basically just throwing everything at this one business because, as we said earlier, I can put anything under this name and sell it if it fits in the homemade brand. So yeah, my goal is to just keep crafting, and if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it stays in my house and I'll keep it there. But I definitely are going to keep more of a hobbyist point of view, I think. I don't want it to let it stress me out, basically. I always want to have this creative, crafty outlet. Otherwise, I think I'd go a bit mental, to be honest. I actually can't think of, I mean, I was quite a stressed person, but I could think, what did I used to do? Like, what was I doing before I was making candles for this outlet? I think I just did a lot of colouring, to be honest.
And maybe getting lost on the social scroll as well.
Oh yeah, I actually so on my phone, the only Instagram account I have is my business one. And yeah, TikTok not allowed on there because yeah, I'm a serial doom scroller and that is it's
Not
a
good for
dangerous place
anyone.
to be, especially not now. Not now.
It's just not, yeah. We could have a whole separate conversation on how much we obviously both dislike TikTok. So yeah, we might leave that part of it there. Because we'll go on too random of a tangent, I'm sure. But what I love about your response to that is it's so genuine and it's so authentic
Oh,
to you
thank
and
you.
what you want for your journey. It's interesting because I chat to some makers that their goal is I want to make six figures. I want to make at least 100 grand every 12 months, or I want to crack into like, the big market. And then you have people that say, I just want to make them just for me. I have no
Yeah.
intention of selling. I have no intention of making a business or doing anything other than just making them when I feel like it. And there's so many people in between the two ends of that spectrum. And what I love is that it doesn't matter what your goals are, right? As long as they're genuine to you and making sure that you're doing it with the right intentions and you're actually listening to your heart and going, what do I actually want from this? And that
Yeah.
can change over time too. You can start off by saying, I just want it to be a small business or just a hobby. Maybe, do a market once a month, something low key, but it pays for itself. Like I'm able to buy my
Yes.
supplies without having to dip into my personal savings and that.
Yeah.
But that can change later down the track. We've got with my membership, the Candle Makers Collective, we've got makers in there that have been making for over a decade. And guaranteed their journey and their goals over that time would have changed. Even if you ask your mum, Lily, and ask her what was, why did she originally start? Or actually, don't ask her. I'll ask her when we have that
Yeah,
podcast recording.
yeah.
We'll get a one-time response rather than her repeating herself.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're allowed to change your goals. You're allowed to pivot. You're allowed to want more than what you currently have, but only if you want that. You don't have to go for things. Not everyone has to make thousands of dollars a week or a day or whatever it is. Like, as long as it's authentic to you. And the response that you gave was so beautiful because it really is, I'm doing this for me, but when I'm settled in myself, that benefits my partner, that benefits my family, that benefits my friends, that benefits the community.
Yeah.
And the ripple effect is so big because it starts with you. And
Yeah.
I love the way you answered that question.
Thank you. Yeah, but and that's it. And I think I've had comments about, I think I'm quite a, so for instance, when I pack an order, I'm very slow. It takes me about half an hour to pack an order, which during that busy period, yeah, it was tough. But I like to take the time. I'm quite an intentional person. So when I'm doing something, I like to set an intention with what I'm doing. And I like to think that that has followed me. So when you buy a candle from me, you get a tea light of a candle that you didn't buy from another range. And I'll also handwrite a note. And I think that's been really great because I'll pop on there maybe something about the thing they've bought and how I love the thing they've bought and just things like that. So it's been really nice to kind of use that intention to connect to people. And I've had repeat sales because of these things where you connect with people because you love doing it. And if I found it a chore, I wouldn't be handwriting notes and I wouldn't be doing all this. I'd be packing it in a box and it'd be shoved in the post box and whatever. So yeah, I think having that kind of love for it comes out in the wash really, doesn't it? Because you can then feel that too. So yeah, I think and I am lucky that I do get to work from home and so I don't have to spend time commuting and things like that. So I can do bits during the day. So I don't have to rely on candles as a form of income either. I can just let them roll and pay for themselves. So that also helps because there's a lot less pressure. I think I just get to make. And the thing is, a lot of the scents and the things that I make, they're just things that I want to smell. I love releasing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do research into what other people like and kind of things like that. But some of my best sellers are just things that I like. And I thought, well, okay, well, people just might like what I like too then. And I found that really kind of putting a piece of yourself firmly into it has really, really helped. But it's also, as I said, why I don't want it to ever stress me out.
There's something so incredibly beautiful and touching when a business owner takes the time to write a note. You can get the thank you cards where they just write your name, and that's what I would call the bare minimum, to be honest. It shouldn't take you too long to write a little note, dear first name, obviously personalize it. Thank you for your purchase. I'm so grateful for this order, and go into a little story or just to connect, as you say, connect. And it's the sort of thing that everyone can do that, but not everyone does. And the people that take that time, I mean, look, in the end, that note is going to be thrown in the bin, and we know that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. It's about that connection, that touch point between you and the other person at the end of the postal service, the other end of the order, the other end of the screen. If you're able to really connect in with your customers and see them, as potential friends even, it's a way for you to really transcend the transaction as opposed to I'm just doing this for money and I'm just going to throw that candle in a box and if it breaks, well, that's your problem. There's very different intention and very different energy when it comes to what a sale means to a small business owner as opposed to what a sale means to a big box store. Very, very different outcomes. So again, love how you answered. I think that's really beautiful. And I think it's a nice reminder for everyone to really be grateful and yes, have that gratitude for our customers when we do receive orders, because some people start off and they can hit the ground running and get multiple orders a week, and that turns to multiple orders a day, and it can build quite quickly. But for the majority of us, it is a lot slower, and that's okay. The journey that we take, we all start off with different skill levels and experience. We've studied different things. Not all of us know about, all elements of business and how to, write sales pages and write descriptions and take the best photos and all the different elements of running the business. But I totally forget the point of what I was saying that for, but I'll just wrap that up with having gratitude for your journey is definitely important.
Yeah, definitely.
What gives you motivation to keep going when things get tough?
Ooh, so I'd say the biggest motivation is knowing that my candles do bring joy, just from feedback I've had. So I think, that is, and I don't ever want to lose this skill. And I don't know if it is a skill, I think it probably is a bit like riding a bike. Although we are quite lucky to to be able to have this skill, because candles, although the tools and the kind of elements can change, the process it hasn't changed for many, many years. So we are quite lucky that we are quite stagnant there. But I think I never, yeah, my motivation to carry on going is, yeah, I don't ever want to lose this. I think that and the joy I know it brings people, it's really nice to hear when I've had some kind of feedback on, I mean, I make some really odd things. I made a candle with little gingerbread men poking out the top, and I got some feedback that they were one of the funniest gifts someone's received for a birthday present. I just thought, you know what? I love that. And it's little things like that that, yeah, do motivate me. And yeah, I don't want to lose this skill. I want this to be something that when I'm 50 or 60, I've making candles for 30 years. I've been doing it since before this, and this. I want to be that person. I am a bit of a knowledge hog. I like to know absolutely everything about something if I'm interested in it. So that's also a huge motivation. It's just, yeah, I want to know everything I can know. And that way, when, I don't know, someone comes to me and says, I get questions now. And it's nice to be able to answer them and be like, I do know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's my biggest motivation. It's to stay close to the wax, stay close to the scents, and not lose that passion.
I heard a quote, or not a quote, like I heard a saying recently that goes like this: one day this will be the last time that you do this, or that you have this, or that you experience this. And it made me really think. It's like, oh, you're right, because the things that we did when we were kids, we don't do anymore. And the things that we'll do when we're older, we haven't yet reached. But one day it may be the last candle that you make. And I'm not saying that in terms of, passing away, but just, as we get older, things get a little bit more tricky, and life gets busier, and like physically, mentally, emotionally, in all the ways. So I think enjoying it while you're able to do it, and that can be for anything, but specifically candle making, being able to, physically move jugs of wax, like hot liquid wax around.
Yeah.
You can't really do that when you've got, say, like young kids, or if you've got pets that are, jump up on benches and things. So there are so many things that won't always be there. And I think it's so important to, again, have that gratitude. And it doesn't matter what challenges you have, because you're not going to have every challenge in the whole entire world. You're only going to have the challenges that you need to learn from and experience and grow through. So having that mindset of, I get to do this, and I get to do this for as long as I possibly can, regardless of the challenges, regardless of how tough it gets, no matter what goes on in the world. But yeah, enjoying what you're doing, having fun with it, and knowing that that is bringing other people joy as well, is just the purest of intentions. And I just think that that's so important.
Yeah, definitely. And I think although the market, as they say, is saturated with candles, I think there are a lot of, it's this kind of thing where people, as we say, people go, oh, you just throw some wax and a wick in a jar. And some people do just do that, and some people will sell that. So I think, we need to find the people that we're all still passionate about it, and we want to keep it going. I think candles are one of the things that will continue. We keep going through all these tech phases of things coming in and out. Candles have been around a very long time, and I cannot see them going anywhere. So, yeah, to keep that passion and that driving force behind this industry, because I know how much joy candles bring people for multiple different reasons. So, yeah, definitely we keep this train going.
Yes, true. I don't know why I said that. Lily, how do you define success?
Well, not repeating myself, but I think success for me is the whole time that I'm enjoying this. Don't get me wrong, the sales are ace and they do help this flow. But yeah, success for me is the joy that it brings me and others. So yeah, although I would love, and I set goals. So I think I had a goal a couple of months ago. I wanted to make star seller on Etsy, and I was like, right, I'm going to do this. And I did, and it was brilliant. And I was like, okay, cool. But I've done that now. Okay, well, and although having monetary goals is obviously brilliant, if you are a business, you do need those goals. I think as a person need to make sure that it's still bringing you joy as well. So yeah, my success is the whole time I'm happy and the whole time I'm not tanking myself as well. You know, the whole time I'm flowing well and, you know, not having to dig into the household bank account to buy wax. Yeah, that's my success. And yeah, I think stay happy within it. And that then flows out too.
Being self-sufficient both in your business and personally is so self-fulfilling because you don't, like you say, you don't have to dip into the household budget to purchase supplies, and we all do that a little bit now and then. That's just,
Yeah.
you know, that's how businesses start, and we want to grow from there. But it's nice when you get to that point where you're like, I've actually built this from the ground up. Like,
Yeah.
I've created something with my own two hands and my own heart, and it's now this beautiful business where you are setting those goals, reaching them and going, cool, all right, I've done that. What can I do now? But not doing it in a, I'm just going to get all the goals mastered. It's like, all right, I'm proud of myself and I am excited that I've hit that goal. What's the next milestone I can aim for? What's the next thing that I can focus on? But also celebrating those goals along the way is important as well.
I don't always have a goal in mind. So at the moment, I am just making, and I mean, my goal is market, I guess, but I wouldn't say I've got like a strict goal on myself at the moment. So yeah, it is just, and I think it's good to have a break between those things as well, because during these times where we are pushing ourselves to hit these goals, we're going to hit problems. And I think one of the biggest things you need to do when you have problems is sit with them and think it out. I'm really like, I love a brain map or a mind map of just info dumping onto a page and then going, right, I'll come back in 10 minutes and we'll reassess. So I think it's good to have breaks in between goals to kind of sit where you are, fix any problems, settle in. Because if you're just going, right, I want to hit this milestone and then this milestone and then this milestone, you're not getting to appreciate the milestones you hit earlier. So yeah, I think it's, I mean, as I said, I am blessed that I don't have to rely on this as a like a source of income. So I do get less pressure. But yeah, I think it's good to just, once you've achieved a goal, just sit and be proud for a bit. Just be like, cool, I did that. Brilliant. Put a star on the chart and we'll think about what's next, you know? So
Yeah,
yeah.
give it time to settle and really have that yeah, appreciation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think that's where the difference is between the bigger companies and us small makers is we do like to sit in our pride, I think, and throw it all over social media. Definitely throw it all over social media.
100%, yes. The highlight reel, but also show the journey before and the lead
Yeah.
up to as well, because then people can become invested in your story and are more likely to engage with your content if they feel like they are connected to you. You know, the whole
Yeah.
know, like, and trust. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lily, we've come to one of my favorite parts of the podcast where I ask all my guests three questions, all relating to candles. The first question is, what is your favorite candle fragrance?
So I've been thinking about this one. So I am a foodie. I love to make candles that smell like food. So at the moment, as we're coming into autumn, I'd say one of my favorites is apple pie. It's actually on right now upstairs, and I'm very excited to walk in and just get that big waft of pie. I know it's only 10 in the morning, but it's fine. So yeah, apple pie I think, is one of my loves.
Yes, I love that. Question two, what do you love about candles?
My favourite thing about candles is the light they bring. And it's funny, the other day I was kind of stood in my kitchen looking down the hallway and I thought, we have lived here a little bit, but we're still in that stage of putting things out. And I thought, oh, it looks really dark down there. I went and put a tea light out and that was it. The hallway was lit. And I thought, it's that simple. So although I love the scents, I think it's the subtle light that a candle can bring absolutely transforms a space. And yeah, it's that. And also imagine what, like the blackouts. If we ever have to go through blackouts, people are going to be coming to my house. I'm good. I've got all the lights.
Yes, you've stockpiled all the candles. You are ready for a blackout.
We're ready.
And then the last question is, what is one piece of advice you'd like to give to other candle makers?
Listen to what people are telling you. So when I first started, my first collection I launched had something like 6 scents in it. And that was way too many for a first collection. And although that collection is now only 18 months old, we're now down to 3 scents on that collection, and they sell wonderfully. So when people say to you, start out small, start with one vessel, one scent, one wax, one wick, listen. Because honestly, the overwhelming I did of myself for that first period, I was thinking, no, it's fine. I can do 6 scents and they're all going to be different and it's all going to work out great. No, honestly. So yeah, listen to the people that do, I think is my biggest tip. Yeah.
And ignore the people that don't, because as
Yeah.
well as their intentions are good, if they're not running a business or they're not running a candle business, they don't really understand what you're going through and what's involved. So choose your advice. Take advice from people not in the know with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Lily, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I've absolutely treasured this conversation. You're an absolute gem, and this has just been such a fun conversation to have. Where can the listeners learn more about you? Like, where can we find you online for those that would like to get in touch with you?
Oh, firstly, thank you for having me. I've loved this so much. So you can find me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Hangtight Homemade. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend, for listening to this episode. Check out the show notes for all the links mentioned throughout the conversation, and please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes.